What is going on the internet? This is your boy P Diddle. We'll see if that nickname sticks. I'm here to talk to you today about the ultimate run and gun setup, 98. The reason I'm making this video, I was inspired by a gig I had last night. My friend Jessica, who it's actually her birthday today. Happy birthday, Jess. Check out her YouTube channel right here. So I was inspired because she said something to me that if you're a run and gun videographer, you probably hate hearing this. But I asked her what the parking situation was, and she said, oh, just use the valet. Set aside the trepidation of leaving a stranger in your car with all of your equipment. The larger problem was that when you do a valet, you don't have access to your car until you leave, right? So I had to do some quick thinking and condense all of my gear into a package that I could carry with me into the shoot. And even if you don't have to use the valet or you find parking somewhere near the venue, I've found in my experience that if I can't carry all of my gear, if I can't carry it all with me in one trip, then there's a much higher chance that it's never going to get used, because usually what happens, and if you're a run and gunner, then this scenario probably sounds very familiar to you. But what usually happens is that I arrive and I find the client, and the client is all flustered because they've got a million things going on at once. They throw all of this information at you and then they say, go! And a lot of the time you either get caught off guard or you don't have time to run back to your car and get a piece of equipment, especially if you've turned your cinematographer brain on and you're immediately looking around for great shots. There's probably a ton of stuff that you don't want to miss. You want to just keep filming and not waste any time making extra trips to your car. So this was a challenge that I faced, and while I was putting everything together, all of my friends that I made up in my head were saying, "Whoa, Patrick, you're so cool. I wish you could show me how to So I thought this would be a good opportunity to bring some insight into the way that I do things, and maybe there's something that you can learn from it, and maybe there's something that I can learn from you. Let me know in the comments. So first things first, let's talk about what camera that I'm shooting on and how I've rigged it up to best serve me for run and gun filmmaking. So I'm shooting on the Sony a7S II. Keith. So a7S II is a really good choice for run and gunning, particularly because of its low light capabilities. You can bump the ISO all the way up to, I don't know, 8,000, sometimes even 10,000 without having to worry about too much noise. And even then you can always go in and clean it up in post afterwards if you really need to. So aside from the camera body, I've got this macro 100mm lens by Canon. So I love this lens. I recently bought it at the recommendation of another YouTuber whose video I watched. I believe the channel is called Make Art Now. Hilarious guy, very smart. Definitely check his channel out if you want to up your cinematography game. This is a terrific close-up lens, and what I also love about it is that it's a macro, so you're not confined to shoot 8 to 10 feet away from your subject or whatever you have to be. You can be as close as a foot away from your subject and still get them in ultra-sharp focus, which is not too common among longer lenses like this. On the lens, we have a circular polarizing filter. I just never take it off because you never know when there's going to be a reflection that ruins your shot. It's just a good thing to have, and it doesn't really do much damage to keep it on your lens. So, ooh, there's my tummy. I don't know if you could hear that. So you'll notice that I've got a few attachments to the top of the camera here. They're all stuck on by this Smallrig top handle, I believe it's called. And this is just a great investment if you're doing any sort of videography. It makes it feel a lot more like a video camera, and you can shoot underslung, and you can attach a bunch of things to it, which is always nice. Attached to the top handle, I have this little Smallrig. It's not a magic arm, but it's a two-way screw mount thingy, and it's got this Aputure Amaran M9, which is a great little light. If you're a cinematographer, I'm sure you've had it advertised to you on one medium or another. But it has a very good color fidelity, and it also outputs a lot of light comparatively to the size. So you'll notice that I've got this little gel. I've found just in my experience, most people who care about interior design, they'll light their spaces with tungsten light or warm colored temperature light. And so it always, unless I know that I'm going to be shooting outdoors, it's always played to my benefit to have this little CTO gel. Rode Videomic Pro. Not much to say about it. It's a great run and gun video mic. This Feelworld 5-inch monitor. I've actually really loved playing with it. It really helps when it comes to looking professional, and also the A7S II screen just doesn't really give you that full range of motion that that's a common complaint. So it's nice to have a bigger articulating screen. It's got false color, it's got really good focus peaking. All in all, it's a great monitor. And it runs off these LPE6 batteries, which at first I wasn't sure how long it would run off of one of these batteries, but it lasted me an entire shoot, which was about, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it lasted me a good 4 hours, and it still had some power to spare. But if you want to play it even safer than that, or you don't have extra LPE6 batteries, it also runs on the, what are they called? The F970s, the big Sony batteries. You'll notice that I've got the MicroHDMI cable unplugged. Always travel with the cable unplugged, because MicroHDMI is just really crappily designed, and I've broken so many cables, and most of the time before I even arrived to a shoot, because I barely bumped this against my hip or something, and this little guy just snapped right off, and then I was without a monitor for the entire shoot, and I just looked stupid staring at a blank screen. Another thing to mention about the camera is that this is actually how I travel with it. When I go to a shoot, I actually walk into the shoot carrying the camera like this rather than having it in a bag or a case. It immediately establishes me as the video guy. Also, there's been a couple times when, like, as soon as I arrive, I see something that I want to capture, and it gives you that flexibility even when you're carrying your gear in to pick up a couple of shots and not let that creativity go to waste. And that also frees up some space in my camera bag, which is always welcome. Speaking of my camera bag, why don't we take a look inside there and see what's going on? Okay, so my camera doesn't go in my camera bag, so what does? Let's take a look. So first of all, this camera bag is, I don't know, my mom bought it for me. Filmmaker tip number 1, have your mom buy you everything. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, my mom bought me this camera bag. It's served me exceptionally well. So let's start with the peripheries, with what I've got on the outside of the bag. And that's one of the great features of this bag, is that it's got a lot of little like straps, little loops that you can attach stuff to. So even if it doesn't fit in your camera bag, you can still find a way to get it on there if it's something that you need to travel with. Okay, so on this side, the blue side, you'll see I've got my little H1 zoom recorder, very handy, literally handy. Just a great little tool if you ever need to record audio externally. So that fits right here. Here. And because we're talking about audio, I'll just show you this part next. But there's a little pouch hidden in the back here, and I've got my multi-tool, and I've also got these this Boya BYM1. I don't remember, but they're great little lavs. I'm actually recording onto one right now. That's my main audio source because I forgot to move my shotgun. Good audio output, and they come with these clips, and I can't remember how many feet, like a 10-foot cable or something like that, 30 foot. I don't know, it gets a little bit unwieldy sometimes, but if you're good at cable management, that'll serve you well. Back to this side. I have these little pouches. These actually came with the Aputure M9 lights. I bought 2 of them, so I have 2 of these pouches. I don't use them for the lights because the lights are so tiny and compact. I can actually fit them in other places, and that opened up these pouches to be used somewhere else. And I've also got them connected to this loop via this carabiner. So in this pouch, ta-da! I got my GoPro Hero 7, which I've actually been using a lot more in lieu of a wide-angle lens, just because every time that you change lenses, you're exposing your sensor to a bunch of dust and nasty stuff that you don't want to get in your sensor. And as long as the space is lit properly, these things really blow me away in terms of the quality of footage that they put out, as well as the internal stabilization. That's GoPro's entire marketing campaign around this camera, is the hyper smooth stabilization, but rightfully so. It's a phenomenal piece of technology that they've put together. So that's in the front pouch. In the back pouch, on this side, I've got extra batteries for the GoPro. On this side, I've got the USB-C cable. So that's that side. Let's flip this bitch around. As you can see, it is so aptly labeled ND, but the ND is actually only one of the things that I got. So in here, I've got ND filters, which I should probably have a better system of transporting them rather than just having them loose in a pouch like that. What else have I got? And I've got a backup MicroHDMI cable because, like I mentioned, these guys are really fickle. They'll break on you. And so I've got one of those. I've got micro USB cables. In the A7S II, you can use them to charge your camera while you're shooting with it, or to power your camera while you're shooting with it, which is very handy. Obviously, I've got my little mini tripod that I just stuck into this loop. In here, I have nothing, but this is the pouch that I put all of my batteries when they've been used up. So these little Sony batteries, when they're all exhausted, I just stick them in here, and that's where they live until I can find a charger. So in the front, let's see, you can kind of see in there, right? So I've got all my batteries neatly tucked away in this little pouch. So I think I have 6 A7S II batteries, and that's enough to last me like a full day of shooting. And then I've got these Canon LPE6 batteries for the monitor. I've got an extra Aputure M9. This is a little monitor cover. It fits on top of the monitor, and so if I'm shooting outdoors, it gives you some more visibility on your monitor. I've got a microfiber cloth. I've got gels for the M9s. So I've got CTO, CTB, and diffusion. All these gels come with the lights, so don't have to worry about buying those. Lastly, I have this little SD card reader, which is handy if you have a client who wants you to dump the footage from your camera straight onto one of their drives or whatever. It's just a good thing to have. Okay, in this little compartment. So in here, I have my extra lenses. So I have this Sony Zeiss 16 to 35 millimeter, which is a phenomenal lens. And then just for a little mid-range, to have an in-between between this lens and the long lens that travels on my camera, I have this Canon 40 millimeter pancake lens, which is one of the first lenses that I ever bought. But it has served me so well over the years, and I don't think I'm ever going to let go of it because the images are crisp and sharp, the colors that the lens produces are amazing, and it's a f2.8, so if I'm in a low light situation and this Sony Zeiss f4 isn't cutting it, then I'll switch over to the 40mm, which is still wide enough to have some flexibility, but it's not so wide that you lose all of your bokeh and cinematic looks. So these two lenses, those are the other two lenses that I carry with me. This is broken, which I can only assume is because the bag came from China. It was broken when it got to me. It wasn't this bad, but it was already sort of coming apart and the zipper wasn't really working, so shame on you, China. Oh yeah, on the bottom of the bag, by the way, there's these two little straps that you can attach. You can clip things to and attach them. So I have a little mini roll of gaff tape, which is a tip that I picked up from Peter McKinnon, very popular YouTuber, possibly one of the best photography YouTube channels out there. Shout out to you, Peter McKinnon, and a what's up from me. So in here, this is where if I'm just taking this bag out, like if I'm going out with some friends, or if I'm not taking this out to a job, then this is where my camera would sit. I would put my Rode shotgun mic in this little compartment where this battery is sitting. But as you can see, there's let's see if I can show you a little bit better. So there's two compartments, or there's a little divider that forms two compartments. So in them I have these two extra bulky batteries. I just kind of stick them in there. I've got my lens hood for the 100mm lens, just because it's such a long lens, sometimes flares are a problem. And so if that's the case, then I'll stick this lens hood on. But the reason that I don't usually shoot with it is because when I've got the lens hood on, I can't adjust the CPL, which is a little bit of a trade-off. Other thing that I've got is this color checker, which is very handy. It's the X-Rite Color Checker Passport. If you don't know what a color checker is for, you suck. No, not really. It's a guide for you to use in post-production to make sure that all of your colors look as natural and as true as they can possibly be. So this is a really handy tool if you're shooting interviews. Just take this baby out and ask your interviewee to hold it up next to their face. The rest of it, as you can see, there's still a good deal of open space, so I just keep that open in case there's any other peripheries that I want to keep in my camera bag. For example, this Go pole, this knockoff Go pole by Luxbel, I don't know. This served me really well last night because it was just very compact. I kept it in my jacket pocket with my GoPro. I ended up wanting to do some POV stuff, so I just stuck it in my inside jacket pocket because I didn't have my chest mount. I think that's it for the camera bag. So let's go back and I'll show you some more stuff. So next on the list is this little mystery bundle. What is it? Is it a monopod? Is it a mic stand? Wait, let's think of some other fun things that it could be, so we can waste your time even more. No, it's actually these awesome little lightsaber lights. This was another purchase that I got off the recommendation of the Make Art Now channel. And they have served me very well in the 2-3 shoots that I've used them on. Let me find a battery and so I can show you what they do. Okay, so these run off the I always forget the NP-F960 or 70 batteries. You know what I'm talking about. I'm holding it in my hand. Okay, so first thing you'll notice, woo, that's right. And this is at 10. So let's bump it up to 90% output. There's 90. There's 99. Wow. Look at that shit. So that's a very bright light for being a portable LED. And what's also cool about the design is that it's so big and long that it gives you a really nice... Okay, let's turn it down a little bit. It gives you... That's still too bright. So it gives you this very nice soft quality, which is great for like when you're shooting interviews. You can have your interviewer hold this in front of your subject, and it'll give them a really flattering eye light and really soft shadows that just roll off the cheeks. It's great for beauty lighting. There's a lot of people that are old and self-conscious about their wrinkles. I'm just kidding. I'm not old, nor am I self-conscious about my wrinkles. But I did encounter one, and she was really obnoxious about it. So this is a good thing to have when you're in that scenario. Other cool thing about this light is that it has RGB mode, which I think it's too bright for you to be able to tell. You can actually, add different values to each channel and get yourself, say you want magenta, then you, let's see, let's not embarrass myself. Yeah, so now I've dialed red and blue up, and I've got this great purpley magenta that you may or may not actually be able to tell what color it is because because the camera's balanced for tungsten right now. But yeah, you can kind of see it. You can kind of see that on my sexy Nexy. It has a 1/4-inch thread on the bottom that you can mount to a tripod or a mini tripod even, and just stand it up. Oh, a nice thing about them is that they come with this little bag, and if you buy 2 of them, you can actually fit 2 in one bag, which is what I've done here. All right, I gotta take a potty break. Next up, let's see if I can fit this all into the shot with me. That's not really the best way to show it off though. Oop, hold on, someone's calling me. Oh, Daniel. Hey, Daniel. Hey, not too much. I'm actually, yeah. What's happening with you? Yeah, I'll text you those links. Is that good, or should I email them to you? Yeah, thank you. That's Daniel Lear, and he's an amazing filmmaker that I actually met while I was running and gunning. So that's hilarious that he called me while we were filming this. All right, give me 1 second because I gotta text him some links. We're talking about collaborating on a project coming up soon. Oh, do you have to go on? You have to go on a walk. Okay. Look who came to visit. This is Keith. And he's very shy, so he's probably... He wants to go on a walk, doesn't he? Oh, does he want to go on a walk? Yeah. Okay, so what is this monstrosity? This is what I take with me to run and gun shoots in lieu of a tripod. That's right, I don't bring a tripod with me unless I'm filming like a performance or I know that I'm gonna need to be planted in one angle for a long time. This serves the purpose of a tripod, which is getting smooth and steady pans, and it does a little bit more than a tripod because it's got a gimbal on it. So this is the Zhiyun crane, first generation, I believe, which is pretty cheap now because I think they're on generation 3. So it's very basic. There's no focus controls, so it behooves you to have a lens with autofocus if you're using this one. But hush. You're such a good boy. But you're a bad boy for barking. Oh, but you're such a good boy. You'll notice that I have another Feelworld monitor that lives on the crane. Like with my camera, if I know that I'm doing a run and gun gig, then I'll just rig this up and have it ready to roll rather than traveling with it in its case. I'll just stick it in my back seat or something, and usually it's fine. Something that helps when you're doing that is to have these little Velcro ties, because otherwise this thing's gonna be like clacking around and making a bunch of noise, and it's just not very pleasant. So we got the Feelworld monitor. We've got this micro HDMI to HDMI that lives also on the stand, and this is just mounted right on top of a light stand. You can travel, obviously, just fold the legs in on the light stand, and you can. It functions like a monopod, which is also something that you can use. But I like using a light stand because it's a little bit more sturdy than a monopod. You don't have to worry about, you know, if you let go of the monopod, is the gimbal with your camera on it and the monitor, is that all gonna fall and break? If you got it on a light stand, you can pretty much be sure that as long as nobody bumps into it, that it's gonna stand well on its own. But yeah, you can tuck these legs in and you can fly. You can essentially fly with it. You can use it as sort of a crane. If you're in a crowded space with a lot, excuse me, if you're in a crowded space with a lot of people, you can do this thing. What's this called? You make it taller and get a higher vantage point. I found that this pair, the gimbal and the light stand, are really they go well together. I want to try these muffins. Oh, my mouth is watering. Just, oh, it's like a cookie muffin, a chocolate chip cookie muffin. That's what. Oh, so good. All right. Well, I guess I should save some of these for Christine. So. That all said and done, Patrick out.